Hi, I'm Brad.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And we're with Lee Miles Auto Care in Reading, Pennsylvania. And this is our transmission talks, where we're going to talk about speed sensors today, right, Joe?
Yes.
In your opinion, what are some signs of failing speed sensors on automatic transmissions?
So the main thing and the most common trait of a failing speed sensor is a glitching speedometer. You know, when you're accelerating, the needle is supposed to move nice and smooth, and a lot of times it will jump around and get sporadic. Some other things are like a lot of times when you go to pull out, if the speed sensor has failed, you go to pull out, first gear is great, but nothing happens after that. You won't have second, third, fourth, or anything after that because it doesn't know what to do at that point, because the transmission relies on the speed sensors to know how fast you're going, and if it doesn't know, it can't command the ship.
Okay, so they're pretty vital components.
Yeah, so extremely important, yeah.
The speed sensors, are they on the outside of a transmission, on the inside of a transmission? Where are they found?
So it all depends based on your make and model. Most of today's vehicles, they're inside, but there are still plenty that they're outside. You know, Chrysler uses it both ways. Also Ford along the way, Ford uses it both ways, but majority of them anymore, they're inside and generally attached to the computer that's also inside.
So these are just getting more and more complicated as time goes on.
Yeah.
So what is the transmission we have behind us here?
So this is a Dodge Ram, Chrysler 45 RFE. It has grown a lot over the years. They're also in the Dodge Cummins Ram 68 RFE. These are the speed sensors in those. They're on the outside. They go inside these holes here. One's job is to read the input coming from the motor, and the other one is the output going afterwards. When you have a speed sensor code and you have any kind of issue that you think might be related to the speed sensor, there's a lot to think about. You have rotational parts inside that this reads off of. This is a magnetic sensor that reads and creates a pulse that the computer can utilize. Now, if something happens in front of it, converter goes bad, spline strip, the computer still thinks you're putting it in drive. It thinks that it's moving, but it doesn't see a signal. So it automatically wants to blame this because it's the only way it has to monitor what's going on inside.
And we've been saying that for years. The computer only knows the electronics for the trans.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily know what's happening mechanically.
Correct.
So that's why you can't just go by a code that you have.
Right.
You have to test the circuit, right?
Yep. It needs to be diagnosed properly, and majority of the time, it's not the speed sensor.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, something has failed, and it thinks the speed sensor because that's all it knows.
Because we've seen that time and time again where a customer has replaced their speed sensor and then eventually it ends up with us and we get the transmission to this point and something's broken inside.
Yep.
And that can be a big waste of money trying to fix a car if you're not going about it in the right
It
direction.
can be quite the headache.
Yeah. Cool. So speed sensors, very crucial part of the transmission. They're absolutely necessary. So we have 3 locations in southeast Pennsylvania. We have a location in Reading, a location in Birdsboro, and then a location in Sinking Spring. So stop in and see us if you think you're having any issues with your transmission or your speed sensors on your vehicle. Thanks.
Because I know this is bad, so I try to stop.
Today on Transmissions Are